Hello and welcome to another Daily Digest video. I am Ross Merriam and today I'm playing a bit of Modern. And I'm playing with a sort of strange deck. It looks very similar to Jund or Abzan decks that we've seen before. That mid-range plan, Thoughtseize, Dark Confidant, Goyf removal kind of deck. But this one plays all of the best cards against Death Shadow because it's 4-color. There's Splash for Snapcaster, Splash for Lingering Souls, and then you get all the great sideboard cards, all the counter spells against Tron decks, and Stony Silence against Affinity. So, wondering if you can make the mana work, and Noble Hierarch does help do that in this list, and just play all of the breaker cards, whether a mid-range deck like this can be viable, and we will get a glimpse of that here. I am on the play, and I think this hand is good, even though it doesn't have a threat. We have a turn 1 discard spell, another one if discard's good against our opponent and removal is bad. But hopefully this removal is good. We can cast it all. I don't think you mulligan hands like this with this deck. If I could trade one of these for a Goy for a Bob, I certainly would, but as long as these removal spells are on, we'll just be able to trade a bunch. We're only on 2 lands, we'll draw a few more, and eventually we'll hit some of our card advantage, whether it be Snapcaster, Dark Confidant, Lingering Souls, or Liliana of the Veil. And our opponent mulligan to 6, that's nice of them. And they scry to the top. Okay. Well, let's see what you got. I will pay 2 life. I will Inquisition you. What you got? The suspense is killing me. Uh-oh. Are they thinking about shame conceding because they kept a really bad 6? That would be... I don't know what that would be, but it would be different. Are they lamenting the fact that I have a discard spell because they kept a hand that was particularly vulnerable to it? I don't know. Ugh. Well, this could get ugly. The good news is this Brutality is going to kill Bird and strip the Collected Company. So, and then I'll probably hold on to Decay to kill the last remaining of these 3s. And the one that is more guaranteed to get a card is the Tracker. So, sure, let's take the Tracker. I actually have a pretty good hand in this matchup, but this is a deck that can pretty effectively grind me out. It's green-white, Todd Stevens special value town Collected Company nonsense. Their Ghost Quarters could also be a problem with my 4-color mana base, but for now they'll probably just think I'm Abzan. Okay. Well, they didn't draw a land. Otherwise, they probably would have played it unless they drew another Ghost Quarter. But looks like our opponent's just lagging a little bit. Ooh. Do I play the Dark Confidant now? I think I Brutality now, because I don't want them to play the... If they play the Courser, I'm going to want to decay it. So Brutality now will let me then play the Bob, and then decay the Courser on curve. So let's do that. 2 modes, please. Kill their thing, take their thing. Target them and target their thing. Discard this one. Okay. They drew an Azusa. Okay. That's fine. That's just another thing we can kill if we draw like a fetch land. It's also a card that's not going to do much because they don't have a way to replay lands from their graveyard, nor do they have a lot of lands. Okay. Now they're guaranteed to have 3 mana. I think I'll just play the Bob now. There's a chance they get to play an extra land off the top of their deck with this Courser, but I will give them the chance of drawing an extra card for my guaranteed card. Okay, so they have a Knight on top, but they did draw a land. So their hand's Azusa, the top card is Knight. Not a fetch land. Still not a fetch land. Knight could be an issue if I don't find a way to turn on Revolt. But I think I should just kill this Courser. The Courser and Azusa combo so well together that let's do that. I imagine these creeping tar pits are a surprise for my opponent, but so what? Just need to find a fetch land. Maybe I can force them to Ghost Quarter this creeping tar pit. That would turn on Revolt. And ugh. Ugh. Come on. Well, yeah, I guess I just play some Noble Hierarchs. I could chump the Noble and 2-for-1 myself if they just attack with the Knight. I think I would do that. So let's make green. I do get to attack with this Bob now for 4, so that's kind of cool. But a little flooded right now, which is one of the issues of adding Noble Hierarch to a deck like this. But so they're at 11. Yeah, I think next turn I can try to get them to Ghost Quarter the Creeping Tar Pit at the very least. Yeah, unsurprised by the no attack. What can they find with this Knight? Township? They probably have a bunch of these canopies. Interesting to tap the Ghost Quarter. I assume we're just casting Azusa here. And they drew a land that they get to play because of Azusa. Sure. Well, that's a little late. Well, now I guess I could Fatal Push my own Noble Hierarch as well. But let's just get him with this Tar Pit, shall we? This can make black. This can make blue. Maybe actually I'm supposed to... maybe I'm supposed to just use the Godless Shrine. Yeah. Activate this. They could tutor for another Ghost Quarter here, but again, that will let me Fatal Push, and I would just make black and Fatal Push both the Knight and the Azusa. My draws with this Bob have not been good, but I still feel pretty ahead right now. Yeah, I think they're going for the Ghost Quarter, which is quite nice. Perfect. Sure. I will use it. And I will find... I have a bunch of black cards in my hand. I should just find the swamp. These will make blue mana, and I doubt they're going away anytime soon. Gotcha. Kill this thing. And do I hold this Fatal Push for something else? Azusa's pretty bad, unless my opponent draws exactly Ramanap Excavator, which could get very awkward, because I can't Fatal Push in response. But if they find some other like good creature, something I'd much rather kill, Courser, Tireless Tracker, another Knight, I think that's more likely. So I'll let the Azusa live. And so they're so close to dead. I guess not that close because they have a Ghost Quarter still for this second Tar Pit. That's probably why they found a second copy rather than just using this one, because they knew I had a second Tar Pit. Okay. Well, interesting. I feel like if they drew Collecting Company, they should have main phased it, because they could hit Excavator or hit Courser and and do stuff. And I'm going to be able to check if they have company before I attack. Snap is a fine draw. There's a fetch to turn on Fatal Push at my own leisure. So I like that. Let's see if they have this collected company. Okay, they just drew a land. And I can attack with just Dark Confidant or just Creeping Tar Pit. I think now that I can actually flashback Collective Brutality to deal some damage, there's no point in letting them Ghost Quarter for a turn, and I should just attack for 4 here. This also prevents them from playing... I guess they have a land, so they can still play a 4-mana card. But maybe maybe I'm supposed to kill this Noble Hierarch so that if they play Collected Company, they have to tap out for it. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I'm going to kill this thing on their upkeep. It's also... yeah, this just makes the game very awkward for them. But okay. Yeah, they knew I've snapped. They're just in rough shape there. Dark Confidant runs away with the game. Pretty standard. This Liliana is probably quite good. This Brutality is definitely good. And how good is this Liliana? I probably don't want 5 Lilianas. I don't think Finxes are that good, and I don't think Counterspell's that good, even though it counters Collected Company. I think my discard spells aren't great. Maybe I'm supposed to cut them. No, they're pretty good, actually. They're good answers to... So on the one hand, they're very clean answers to the various value creatures. Tireless Tracker and Courser don't get immediate value when you take them with discard spells. But on the other hand, I think we're going to have the games go pretty long, and they're going to be attrition-y like a Jundamir would be. And so these are poor top decks, as you saw in Game 1. I think trimming 1 is probably just fine. I don't really like any of these cards. Finks is not the kind of grindy I think is going to be good. It doesn't really attack well. Yeah, we don't really have a good sideboard for this matchup, but our main deck is pretty well suited for it. And we will be off. I imagine they will choose to play first. That's what I would do. But what do I know? Very good opening hand here with, yeah, just really good. I don't know what else to say. Opponent kept 7 as well. Think if they play a Noble, I will Fatal Push it. But they didn't, so I just get to play a Noble. And oh god, I can Liliana them on turn 2. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, this could get out of hand real quick. Ooh, baby. We are doing it. Oh, wow. Oh, they just don't have anything. I guess they probably have a path here, is my guess. If they kept a hand without any sort of interaction, I kind of want to just play Liliana. Is that so weird? And just start plussing it? What are they? They probably don't have a good answer to it, and they're probably trying to tap out for a creature here on turn 3. Yeah, I'm just going to play this and plus discarding one of these lands. Pretty sure they have a path here. Next turn I just get to play 2 creatures too, so their path gets even worse. And if they play a creature to try to get me to -2, then their path gets even worse. And because I'll have to path one of these creatures, I'll have more lands anyway, so I'm not concerned about discarding one. And yeah, not surprised my opponent discarded a land. Sure. Okay, well, let's Edict you and play our 2 things. And Not sure how they're going to get out of this one. We are really far ahead. Like, really, really far ahead. We have 4 things. They have no things. I guess collect a company is the way to do it. Ooh. Ooh. Okay then. Okay then. I'm just gonna play this just as in the duress mode because they'll probably have to. They'll be forced to play company, and I'll get to take their path. Collective Brutality was a great draw there. Forcing their hand on my main phase is great. Now I get to decide how to attack. I get to use my removal spells appropriately. Maybe they don't have the path, but... And this Brutality just looks bad, but that's fine. Okay, Finks was a good hit for them. Definitely a good hit. Oh, they have Dramoka's Command. Okay, so Noble Hierarch, Reminap, Excavator. Difficult to see there, but... nothing I'm too concerned with. I guess they do have a land they can now get out of their graveyard. They have a Horizon Canopy, so I guess that is somewhat concerning. So let's think about this. How do I want to attack? I'm going to be able to play my hand out and plus this Liliana, so that they have to discard the Noble. Presumably they play Excavator, play Plains, crack Horizon Canopy on end step, or maybe play a 2-mana card if they find that. I'm definitely attacking with this Tarmogoyf. So, yeah, I guess there's not much to do about it. I can attack with it first, and if they double block, I get to eat half of the Finks, which I like. Sure. Excavator Canopy is definitely a thing, but I should be putting them under enough pressure that it's not a big deal. So let's... Alternatively, I could just not push this, but then my Liliana's under a lot of pressure. I'm just going to push the Goyf. And this is definitely finding a white source, and I guess my only option is Goblet Shrine, so let's do that. Play our thing. I guess this was an awkward attack, because now they get to crack the Finks at my Liliana, and I sort of have to trade one of these cards for it. But that's fine. Send me a message. Yeah, I know the draw is pretty good. I've been saying as much. Alternatively, I could just let my Liliana die on this attack, which might be right. There's the Excavator as expected. Oh, they just didn't. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Inquisition has to be a good draw. And this is... How many creatures are in graveyards? Just 3, and they're on their side. So if I attack with both, they could double block the Goyf, and I would just trade Goyf for Excavator, which I think I'm fine with, because this is their source of card advantage. And then I get to just Inquisition them, presumably get a hit, plus Liliana, take their last card, play this Noble, and be very far ahead again. So, and this also just applies the most pressure. If they don't do any blocks, or maybe they chump with with Finks, that's also fine. If they chump with Finks, I might just be tempted to -2 this Liliana. I guess we'll see what happens when I position them. But if they don't block, I'm going to bring them to 8. Well, they're going to be under a ton of pressure. Mushu. The threat of lethal 2 also makes it difficult for them to attack my Liliana, so don't feel that uncomfortable not having a good blocker back. Let's exile Tarmogoyf. And exile Tireless Tracker. And you can take 8. Now let's Inquisition you. Oh no! Well, they drew a pretty good selection of cards against my Inquisition in a land and Collected Company. Yeah. I'll play a Noble, and I'll plus this Liliana. And maybe I was supposed to exile some of these lands. I didn't really think that turn through that well. I could have played that better. Please don't hit Azusa. Yeah, I definitely think I could have played that turn better. Okay, that's fine. Well, now we need to draw some removal spells, is really what's going on. I'm going to be able to Edict them with Liliana. I can eat Finks if they sacrifice that. But one good removal spell. That was not it. I know they have a Collected Company on top of their deck. Well, definitely going to Edict them. Let's exile that. And I guess all I do is attack with Ooze. Yeah, and leave this back. This is still a 7-point attack. Hard for them to block it down. They'd have to essentially trade a 2-for-1. Yeah, no blocks, not surprising. I'm still in fine shape. The Mire is actually kind of cool because it lets me generate a lot more green mana for Ooze. And I'm just going to main phase exile this Ghost Quarter. This Collected Company could be a problem. Let's see what they hit. And you'll land on the top is kind of nice. Surprised they wouldn't Collected Company first. They might have a land on top after the 6 cards. Okay. Also weird that they shuffle away a good hit. I guess it's not a great hit, actually. Just doesn't make a huge immediate impact. I know that would only have one land in the yard that could easily get removed by ooze. Okay. So we know one of their 6 cards is a brick. How about another one? Ugh. I guess I should have... Okay. Well, this is actually pretty good because I get to exile their land with the witness trigger on the stack. What is this witness targeting? Okay, yeah, it's targeting that collecting company. So let's make 2 green with our mire. And let's exile that collecting company. And exile. Okay, that's the exile zone. Okay. Looked like it was still targeting, and it is. It's just not going to do anything. Get their land so they can't replay it. So they've sort of assembled the engine with Excavator, Courser, Eternal Witness. Yeah, I imagine they crack this Horizon Canopy. If they had a land on top, okay, yeah, they're sort of back in it. They do have to start chump blocking. There is another land. So they get to chump block with Eternal Witness. Well, that's interesting that they chose getting that land into play instead of the Canopy, because now I get to exile the Canopy. Oh, I should have exiled the... I have a green mana. I should have exiled the Canopy with some activation in the stack, but that's fine. Importantly, they have a green mana to exile something with ooze. Can they... no, there's a bunch of instants and sorceries, and I have multiple lands, so that'll be good. I guess the creature I put in, or this Liliana, could get exiled if I try to attack multiple things. Because I want to attack with these glyphs. Again, a removal spell should just about do it, but let's get that Canopy out. It's kind of bad for them to take Eternal Witness. I think they should have just taken some other card, right? Unless it was their only option. Ugh, come on. Just need a removal spell. So, if I make them sack this thing and attack with Goyfs and Ooze, they can take one Goyf, they have to block another one, and they have to block the Ooze. So they have to block with 2 things. I guess they get to double block with their Ooze and Courser. Maybe they I guess they double block with their Ooze and Excavator on a Goyf. And then... no, they don't really have good blocks because the Liliana is an extra type. They could exile that, but then they're still a creature, so my ghosts are still 4/5s. So they don't have good blocks. So yeah, let's get them. This should work out pretty well. They don't... so all 3 are lethal. They're definitely going to end up not being lethal after they crack this fetch, unless they don't have a 3rd forest in their deck, which I think they do. Sure. Yeah. So now the Goyfs aren't lethal, so they can take 1, but they're going to have to chump block 2 things. What are they targeting? Eternal Witness. So I will do that in response. Seems like the worst one for them to target, because I'm incentivized to leave it in the graveyard if they just exile the Liliana. So I still have 4/5s. I guess they can triple block one of them, and I only get one of these three things. Oh, now they have a path on top. Okay, they're just chumping, because they definitely want to keep this courser around. But, yeah, sure, you got it. And their board position is just eroding so quickly here that I don't see them coming back. Once again, Dark Confidant just goes unanswered against a deck that has a hard time answering it. And that is not a card you can leave on the battlefield for this long. Excuse me. Probably just thinking about their outs. They know their top card. I guess that they need to hit a bunch of lands. Rising Canopies would be good, of course. Let's make some green mana. Let's play this Noble. And play a third Tarmogoyf. I have so many Tarmogoyfs. So many. There's land 1. Up to 2 life. Well, yeah. They basically had nothing there. I don't even know what succession draws they could have hit. Certainly, maybe something to survive that turn, but definitely not something to get back into the game when I still have this Dark Confidant going. Just too much card advantage. I think the turn 2 Liliana play ended up working up pretty well, even though they didn't have a path. Just used my mana better and getting it up to 4 so I can do a lot with the... I ended up doing exactly the edicts that I wanted. So that extra loyalty I was able to get a turn early definitely helped out. And a matchup that I think is kind of scary for most mid-range decks, especially one that's a little bit slower than Death Shadow decks, and I was able to handle it pretty well, but Dark Confidant is just an MVP there. Hope you enjoyed this one, and you can come back and see me on Monday. Monday? No, wait, this is Monday. Yeah, this is Monday. You can see me on Wednesday. Bye.